So what we have done so far, we have done Idafah, which is a fragment, as we all know. That's the first fragment we did after completing the properties of Ism, four properties of Ism, understanding all the fundamentals about the Ism. Now we are moving on to another fragment, which is Mawsoof Sifah. This is a noun adjective relationship that we did last time, right? And we did few examples. For example, we said tall boy, in which tall would be an adjective and boy is the noun, right? So tall is describing the boy. Both are isms. Mawsoof Sifa also happens between the two isms. So, but in English, the adjective always comes before the word that is being described. So tall would come before the boy. In Arabic, it's the flip side. So the adjective would come after the ism. So sifa is basically the adjective. In Urdu, we call it sifat. You might know this word, sifat. In Arabic, it's sifa. Mawsoof is the ism that is being described. Right. So in Arabic language, when you build up this Mawsoof sifa, there are few things you have to keep in mind to identify if the fragment is a Mawsoof sifa fragment. The first thing is that all four properties must match. Right? All four properties must match. I mean, of course, four properties between the isms. One is the Mawsoof that is being described, and the adjectives as well, the sifat. So the properties will always match. Then, G.
Faz, I think you in Arabic, um, adjective comes after noun, right?
Correct. Correct. Adjective come after noun.
Okay.
We'll do some examples. We'll do some examples.
Right.
Today, I want to take you to Quran, and you will see, inshallah, some beauty of the Quran today. Four properties must match. The Mawsoof and Sifa, the Mawsoof and Sifa can have a long distance relationship. This means that there can be other words between them. So a word being described can be distant from the word from its sifa, right? So this is not the case with Idafa. Idafa requires both words to come together immediately. Right? But in this one, you can have the long distance relationship, and we'll see a few examples today. Right? Don't forget, because students tend to forget this. It always takes place between two isms. This is ism-based fragment. There is nothing to do with fail and harf in this fragment. Always in between two isms, just like idafa. It's also between two isms. So these three things you need to keep in mind. Always, their four properties will match. They can have long distance relationship, and it's always taking place between the two isms. Okay. Now let's go to your notes. There are a few interesting things written in your notes. So let's read through these notes. There are two things in this fragment that you have in your notes. One is the Mawsoof, and the other is Sifa. Mawsoof is always the first one, and there is only one Mawsoof. You describe one ism at a time. Right? Sifa, on the other hand, has the same four properties as the Mawsoof, always. Okay? It comes always after the Mawsoof. It can be more than one, and it does tolerate the long distance relationship. Okay? And these are some key pointers where I actually caused the confusion a few minutes ago. The Mawsoof is never pronoun, pointer, word, and it's a Mawsoof. What does this mean? This means that you cannot define adjective for he. You cannot say tall he. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. You can't say blew this, right? You cannot say beautiful, the one who. Doesn't make sense, because he is a pronoun, this is a pointer, the one who is a mawsool, allazi. So you can't say that. So it doesn't apply there. So what your notes are saying is that Mawsoof will never be pronoun, pointer, or ism mawsool. Okay? A sifa will never be a proper name, pronoun, or word. You cannot say, for example, Muhammad car. Doesn't make sense, right? Muhammad cannot be a characteristic of or adjective of for car or anything else for that matter, right? So the proper names cannot become sifat. That's what we are saying here. And so is the pronouns. He, car cannot be there as a sifa, right? This car, if you say, this car is a fragment of different type, but this cannot be the sifa, the adjective of the car, right? That's what this point is saying, the second one. Is this clear? When we do practice, inshallah, things will become more clear.
Yes.
Okay?
First one, Mawsoof, only one. What do you mean by here? Like, for example, if we are trying to describe two, like, adjective for two people, we have to describe it separately. Like, for example, Ali and Ahmad are tall.
Ji.
So,
Uh,
does it mean that or something else?
yes. Um, in English, you could say tall Ali and tall Ahmad, just to explain that. Okay? So what you have done is you've taken the adjective tall and applied differently to two different isms. But could you also do that? Tall Ali and Ahmad?
Nope.
I mean, I mean, everyone might understand, but it doesn't really look right. There's something really missing there. And there's another point is you can say, for example, large, beautiful, space and spacious house, for example, right? So in this case, house is the ism, which is only one. That is Mawsoof. But there are three sifas: large, beautiful, spacious, and is not a sifa, it's just a connect. Three sifas, there can be multiple of them, but ism, which is Mawsoof, is only one. That's what it says. So Mawsoof will always be one, but you can describe it in with many different sifas. Clear, Sohail?
Ji.
Good. Now this pointer, last one. Look out for non-human plurals and their feminine sifas. So usually you can get tricked by these non-human plurals, whereas things might be looking different, and you might not be able to do the properties if you don't look at closely. For example, haqaibu actually is bags, and these are non-human. Right? So when you do four properties of haqaibu, apparently you would probably say rafa, singular, masculine, proper, but this is not the case. It's a
Singular
broken
family.
plural, right?
Yeah.
So it's singular, feminine, sorry, not proper, common, and common, right? And then Jamilatu would also be rafa, singular, feminine,
Feminine,
common, right? So the four properties would match. So when you look at the broken plurals, you can get tricked by them because they apparently might look masculine, right? A good tip to remember that is if you are looking at two things like this and the sifa is labeled in feminine, it's high chance that the Mawsoof is a broken plural, because broken plurals are feminine, non-human.
So you mean that shall we start fragmenting from Sifah side then?
You should validate from the Sifah side.
Okay.
Yes. Up to you, really. If you know the meanings, then of course you'll do it from here. If you don't know the meaning and you have suspicion, then you might start from the Sifah.
Dr. I
But
was just thinking in this point, it says look out for the non-human plural, right? But
mhm.
shall it make more relevance if we say non-human broken plurals, or it can be for because
But
we Hmm.
if you remember, we said non-human plurals can be assigned singular feminine, broken or
Okay,
not,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So this is another example. I think al-kutubu as-saghiratu, the small books, right? So now you know kutubu is books and kitabu is a book. So you would do rafa singular feminine proper, and as-saghiratu is rafa singular feminine proper, right? So just be mindful of the broken plural. As we do practice, they will come up, and then you'll be able to, inshallah, see that and practice that. Okay, that's the theoretical understanding of the Mawsoof Sifah fragment. It's one of the easier one in Arabic, and it's not too difficult, and it's usually students are quite comfortable with it in spotting them. Let's do some practice, and we take it from there. Qawlan saqilan, for example, you look at, and you see visually as well, many times they look quite similar. They look quite similar, but not always, of course. Don't take this as a rule, but they might look different. For example, Hakai, Bu Jamila don't look completely different. Qawlan saqilan. If you look at Qawlan, you're saying it's nasab, it's singular, it's masculine, and it's common, correct?
Yes.
And does the same four properties apply to saqilan?
Yes.
Right? It's nasab, it's singular, it's masculine, it's common. Right? Mawsoof sifa. Qawlan, saqilan. That means a heavy word. So word is qawlu. You see the qawlan is coming before, but in English the qawlan is after. The word is after. The sifa is before. Right? It's flipped. Okay. At-tamatul kubra. Let's try to do that. Tamatu, it's rafa, singular, feminine, proper. Yeah, everyone with me on this?
Correct.
Are these the four properties of al-kubra? Rafa, is it rafa? How do I know? Is it singular?
Because it's a non-flexible one with ending with ya.
Correct.
So it can
Correct.
only be in a one state, which
Correct.
is Rafa. By default, it's a Rafa state.
No, it can be in all status,
In
but it
anyone,
doesn't
actually.
show that.
Yeah.
It doesn't show that, right? So how do I figure out that this is rafa? So because I can't say right now it's rafa, let me verify the remaining three properties first. Right? It's singular, and I know that things ending with the alif, not alif maksura are feminine. We learned that in the past, and I can see that it's proper. Now the three properties match, and we said in the past there is an unwritten rule that if it could be, it is. Right? Now, because these three properties match, there's quite a evidence to suggest that it is actually Mawsoof Sifa, and I will derive its Rafa property because of the Mawsoof. So that's how you decode that property. So if it could be, it is. So that's how the thinking goes. Okay? Otherwise, it doesn't show you the status. This is the fragment. Idafah and Mawsoof Sifa are very heavily used in the Quran. Very, very heavily used in the Quran. Now, suhufan. Suhufan means scriptures. Scriptures. It's a plural. So it's a broken plural. So when it's a broken plural, I know that. What would be the four properties? Nasab, singular, feminine, common. Right? Mutahharatun means purified, as you see in the translation as well. So it's going to be nasab, singular, feminine, common. Purified scriptures. Okay. All right. Bala'un. Now, bala'un is a test. It's a test. Rafa, singular, masculine, common. Where is the Sifah?
Azimun.
Azimun. Correct. Azimun. And you see there's a long distance relationship. So there are many words between them. So Azimun would also be Rafa, singular, masculine, common.
And Dr. Saab, if I this min is special mudaf, Rabbikum is Idafah with attached pronoun, and then it comes with. So shall we decode this?
On Rabbikum, you're right. Rabbikum is a Idafah with attached pronoun. Min is not a special mudaf. Min is a harf, which we haven't done yet.
Okay.
We'll do that next, inshallah, after this one. Sururun marfu'atun. Sururun is beds. This is an ayah from one of the surahs where Allah is describing the Jannah. Sururum marfu'atun. You'll have beds which are elevated. Right? So sururum, because it's a non-human broken plural, Rafa, singular, feminine, common. Marfu'atun, Rafa, singular, feminine, common. I'm assuming that everyone is getting what I'm saying, right? If there are no questions, I'm assuming things are fine, right? Otherwise, please do stop me. Don't want to keep on going while you struggle. Okay.
All good, Fahad.
Exactly. Ka'asfin. Ka'asfin. Ma'kul. Jar, singular, masculine, common.
Yes.
And ma'kul would also be jar, singular, masculine, common. Four properties match. Al-fawzu al-kabiru. Al-fawzu is attainment or success. Great success. The great success or great attainment. Okay. Rafa, singular, masculine, proper. Rafa, singular, masculine, proper. Now, this fragment should make you feel that what is the value of doing four properties effort in the beginning sessions of the course. Because we were doing four properties one after the other without knowing. And I remember many questions were there. Why are we doing this? Why it is necessary? And this should answer those questions. So without doing that fundamental, we just can't do this. Not possible. Ji, Umar bhai.
तो भाई ये कॉमन नहीं है. Why is it proper?
Which one?
ये great attainment.
Because of al.
Because we have an al, Umar bhai.
Sorry.
Who can do this for me? Narun Hamiya. Narun. Any volunteers?
So Narun is female. This is what I remember.
Okay.
Narun is Shamsi, what you said? Narun is?
Female.
It's actually bas because Arab said so. Yeah, I think it's from that story.
Correct.
Then
Bilkul,
that's why
sir.
all
That's
those
I remember.
I like the way Shams Bhai said Narun is female. I hope your door is closed, Shams Bhai, and you're alone in the room.
Sir, I'm in Pakistan. I'm miles away.
Oh.
Yes, you both are right. Shams Bhai is saying Narun is feminine because she remembers that story, and you are using the term that we did Tala Baz because the Arab said so. Both are right. It is Rafa, it is singular, it is feminine, and it is common. It is feminine because the Arab said so.
In current context, Shams Bhai is more relevant.
Hamiyatun is also.
Talabhai, remind me of one thing that in Hindi, female is called Nari. So, so it's not just Arabic or Urdu.
यानी
Some facts are universal.
Akash bhai, your voice broke. Couldn't hear you. Say again.
मेरी आवाज आ रही है डॉक्टर साहब पहले तो माजरत मैं थोड़ा लेट हूँ
No, that's fine.
मैंने कहा था
We can hear you.
वो शमस भाई कह रहे थे कि हर जगह ये कहने का मतलब है कि जहाँ भी ले जाए ये आग ही रहेगी
बिल्कुल अच्छा जी लिगुलामैनी यतीमैनी two orphan boys. Okay.
Nasab or jar.
Yes.
Pair.
Nasab or jar. Pair. Masculine.
Masculine.
Common. Right. And both would be the same. Nasab or jar. Pair. Masculine. Common. You see how structured the language is. Very mathematical. There is a logic to things. Of course, there are things completely illogical, like broken plurals. But still, those illogical things do have a logic to them in their own sense.
Doctor, here Gulamaini is for two,
Two boys. Two boys.
Okay, Gulami boys.
No, this is the translation they've done. I mean, Ghulam doesn't necessarily have to mean boys. It actually means slave, for example.
Slave, yes, yeah.
Right? But servant or slave. But translations are just there as indicative. Don't take them literally. Maghanimu kasiratun. So you have Rafa, you have singular, you have masculine, you have common. Maghanimu is gains. Rafa, singular, feminine, and common. And kasiratun is Rafa, singular, feminine, common. Yeah? Clear?
Yes.
Good. Let's go to something more beautiful than this. Today you will learn something, inshallah, that probably you have not seen before, most of you at least. What is this? Bismillah. Which fragment is it? Is it a fragment? What can you tell me about this?
It is a mudaf and mudaf ilayh relationship. Light with no al followed by jar.
Correct. Absolutely. Bismi Allahi. The name and the word Allah. That's why you say the name of Allah. B brings the concept of in or with the name of Allah. We have not done B yet. We'll do that next. So Bismi combined is a mudaf for you now, and Allah is mudaf ilayh. That's why the of relationship. In the name of Allah or with the name of Allah. Right? Ar-Rahmani.
Mawsoof.
Yes, let's decode that. The four properties of the word Allah. Jar,
Jar,
singular,
singular,
masculine,
Masculine, proper.
right? Four properties of Ar-Rahmani.
uh,
Jar, singular, masculine, proper.
proper.
Yeah, everyone sees that?
Yeah.
Somebody's struggling to join. I think Shams, yeah. Okay.
But I think he's doesn't able
Okay.
to listen. Now he's here.
Ar-Rahimi. Four properties of Ar-Rahimi.
Jar,
Jar, singular, masculine,
masculine,
proper.
proper.
Now what's happening here? Look closely. Yeah. So you have an Idafah relationship going on here. Right? This is Idafah relationship. Now then what you have is the word Allah is being described by one of its characteristics, Ar-Rahman. Right? So the word Allah is Mawsoof, and Ar-Rahman is the first characteristic, the most gracious. Right? Then you have another characteristic, Ar-Rahim, again connected to the word Allah, not connected to the Ar-Rahman. It is the characteristic of the word Allah. Now the question comes, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim also matches in four properties. Why can't we say that Ar-Rahim is a Sifah of Ar-Rahman? That question might pop up in your mind. Right? And the simple answer to that is, Ar-Rahman is a Sifah, and another Sifah cannot be a Mawsoof to another Sifah. It doesn't make logical sense. That's one short answer. The second answer to that is, when you see two Allah's names coming together, whenever you see two Allah's names coming together in the Quran, they are not treated as Mawsoof and Sifah. They are either treated as Sifas only for the Allah, or differently, which we have not done. Right? So two names of Allah coming together will not be treated as Mawsoof and Sifah. So Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Ghafoor, Ar-Rahim, Halimun, Hakim, and all of those things that you see in the Quran, they won't be treated as Sifas, Mawsoofs and Sifas. Okay. So
and those two names are these Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, right?
correct.
Okay.
You see the 99 names of Allah. Every name has its own unique characteristic. Ar-Rahman is more gracious, Ar-Rahim is more merciful, Al-Qadir is more powerful, Al-Wahhab is giver of gifts, and things like that. Every name has a specific meaning to it, right? But the word Allah does not have a specific meaning to it. Do you realize that? So there is no one definition of the word Allah, and the reason for that is all the characteristics that are mentioned in the 98 names are encapsulated in the word Allah itself. So when you're saying Allah, you're saying all those 98 characteristics at once. And that's the beauty of the word Allah. So, and that is why those 98 names are actually the sifat of Allah. Right? So that's an important concept to understand. Okay? But you see, you have never seen Bismillah like this before. Right? So all our lives, we have never seen Bismillah like this before. So we now know how it is constructed. Now, my question to you. Now you look at this. This is called chains. I mean, not officially called chains, but I normally call them chains. Bismi is connected to Allah, the word Allah. The word Allah is connected to Ar-Rahman. And the word Allah is also connected to Ar-Rahim. Right? We also know this was one fragment, which is Idafah. We also know this is another fragment. This is Mawsoof Sifah. Right? Because everything is fragment, this entire thing is one fragment. One big, large fragment. It's kind of a multi-fragments coming together. Right? This When we say this is a large fragment, we are saying it's not a sentence. It is still not giving you the full meaning. What you're saying, with the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Okay, then what? That missing part is still there. You might, or you say, in the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful, we have done this work. Now you have some complete information, right? This fragment itself does not give you the complete information, and that is why you recite it in the beginning of every surah, because the remaining surah actually completes it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, and so on and so forth. It's a fragment, it's not a sentence. Okay? Clear? So next times, inshallah, when we do some practice tests and things like that, the questions you can expect would be somewhat along the similar lines. You're given a script from the Quran and try to identify which fragments are operating in it, what are the relationships between the word, because now you're moving one step ahead. You're not looking at one word, you're looking at multiple words together. Right? Slowly, we are moving in that direction. Now, I want to give another example.
Dr. Saab, can I ask one question before we move on? And this Mawsoof Sifah thing, is this happen only in one ayah, like till we have this circle thing, or can it be extended to the other ayah as well? Like,
No, you cannot generalize it only to one ayah. Mawsoof Sifas, you will do advanced forms later on. An entire sentence could be a Sifa of a one word. I'll give you those examples later on, but those have to come. But you can have Mawsoof in one ayah and Sifa coming in the, let's say, second or third ayah.
Okay,
and
okay, good.
We'll see one example right away. Okay? Now let's pick up the fundamental surah that we know. Alhamdu. Alhamdu. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Now, you know Alhamdu. If I give you Alhamdu independently, you should be able to tell me it's an ism, it has an al, it's masculine, rafa, singular, proper. Right? And lillahi, you should be able to tell me exactly the same, the four properties. It's the word Allah with four properties: jar, singular, masculine, proper. The word lillah is actually in combination with another harf, which is lam, we have not done before. Inshallah, in the next fragment, we are going to address all of that. So the word lillah is actually for Allah. Okay? Alhamdulillah. So I don't want you to worry too much about these two things, because you've not really done more detail than what I've just said for these particular words. Now,
Dr. Lillahi is not attached pronoun. The Idafah with attached pronoun.
which one? Sorry?
Lillahi is not Idafah with attached pronoun.
No, it's not. It's the word Allahi combined with the harf li.
Okay, got it.
Now, what you're saying is Alhamdulillahi Rabbi al-Alameen. That's one ayah, right? Then you have Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahmani, Ar-Rahimi. That's the second ayah. Then you have Maliki, Yawmiddini, Yawmi ad-Dini. Okay, let's work with this one first. That's the fundamental, you know. So how are the ayahs divided here? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, one ayah. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, second ayah. Maliki Yawmiddin, third ayah. Yes? Everyone with me on this? Now let's go one by one. So we're looking at Lillahi. We're looking at Lillahi. What are the four properties of Lillahi? Going to be jar, going to be singular, it's going to be masculine, and it's going to be proper. Right? Let's move on to another word. Next one. Can you give me the 4 properties of Rabbi?
Jar.
Jar,
Singular,
singular,
masculine,
masculine.
proper.
Okay, and why is it proper?
If the word after of is proper, then the
Of
word
is
before
yes.
of is also proper, because it's mudaf and mudaf ilayh relationship.
In between which words?
Rabbil Alameen.
Correct.
Is it?
Very good. Very good. This is mudaf and mudaf ilay. Correct? Right? No al, followed by jar.
Yeah.
Because you have an al here, makes alamin proper. That actually dictates the type of Rabbi. That's why you said it's proper. Correct? Everyone with me on this? Excellent. Now, what's happening here? Do they match? The 4
Ji.
properties match, right? Lillahi and Rabbi. So what you're saying, Alhamdulillah, all praise and gratitude belongs to Allah, the master of the worlds. Now, the Rabbil Alameen is one sifa of the word Allah. In fact, the Rabb is the sifa of Allah, because Rabbi is connected with Alameen. You can't disconnect them. You can't make them apart. You just pick the entire Idafah and you say that this entire Idafah is a sifa of the word Allah. And the 4 properties of this entire Idafah are dictated as the 4 properties of Rabb. Mudaf's 4 properties are the properties of the Idafah. Okay?
And Fahad bhai, because of this continuation of Rabbi means Jar, Alameen we can say is Jar. We should not be confused. Is it Nasab or Jar? It is Jar.
Yes, because you know it's part of an Idafah fragment.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Alameen is Mudaf ilay, and it has to be Jar if it has to be Mudaf ilay. Right?
It's very recursive, mashallah. It's amazing. Doctor, why did you decode Alhamdu? That's
Because Alhamdu is something different that you have not done. It's called Mubtada and it's a sentence. You have not done that concept yet.
okay.
That's why I've left it for now.
All right. I thought that is also a part of that Idafa. That's why you tried to.
No. Leave Alhamdu for now.
So,
So-
Talha bhai, the clip which, or not the clip, the link which Fahad bhai sent about Ustad Numan Ali Khan's tafsir of Alhamdulillah, if you could see that, you will understand then. That Akhri Muazzah link.
Yes.
That's great, Fahad bhai. That's great.
Yeah. So that's one aspect. Now let's go to the other one. So Ar-Rahmani is another name of Allah, and the 4 properties should be jar, singular, masculine, proper, right? And check this out. 4 properties match again, right? They match again with the word Allah. It means we are saying that Allah, the master of the worlds, the most gracious, still connected. The word Allah is Mawsoof. The Ar-Rahman is Sifah number 2. The word Rabbi was Sifah number 1. Yep. Ar-Rahimi, jar, singular, masculine, proper. Again, connects with the word Allah. The most merciful, Sifah number 3. Everyone sees that? You see how it is structured? It's very structured. So everything is connected. Everything is connected. 4 properties of the word Maliki. Singular, jar, singular, masculine. What's the type? I'm stuck with the type.
At the moment, it is common.
Okay. At the moment, it's common. Let's put it like that. Let's go through the process and really understand it. Now, when I look at the word Maliki, am I looking at a heavy ism or a light ism?
Light.
Light ism. So when an ism is light, what question should it raise in one mind? Ism can be right in 4 situations. It could be partly flexible, it is calling somebody, it is mudaf, right? And there was a categorical negation, right? So are we looking at something which is light and doesn't have an al?
Isn't it attached pronoun thing?
Malik is a full word. It's
Okay.
not attached
This
pronoun.
is where I get confused, because that's where I always get confused. Is it a full word or is it attached pronoun?
So these are quite common words also in, for example, Urdu, right? Malik is Malik, right? So for such words, don't go an extra mile and try to decode them as attached pronoun. So the ones that you do not know will come with experience as well. Okay? So Maliki is a full word, I'm telling you. So my question is it partly flexible, or let's do deduction. Do you think it's partly flexible?
Yes,
It is
because
partly
it's 3
flexible.
words. It's 3 words.
Okay, so partly flexible can take
No,
kasra,
sorry.
right?
Take my word back.
I think there was something with kasra that doesn't take kasra in the end. There was a rule for it.
Partly flexible is never heavy, which this is. It's not heavy, but it also doesn't take a kasra, right? Partly flexible isms never take kasra, and this is taking kasra, the zair. So it can't be partly flexible. Is it calling somebody? Well, no, because there is no ya before it, ya Muhammad or something like that. We do not have the calling particle before it. Is it categorical negation? Well,
No.
there is no la before it, right? So I can't say it's a categorical negation. So what is remaining? Is it a mudaf? Light and no al?
Yes.
Probably yes, it fits the bill, right? So it is light and it has no al. So I'm assuming it's a mudaf. So when I'm assuming it's a mudaf, immediately after I should find what? Mudaf ilay.
Ilay.
Do I have mudaf ilay?
Yomi.
Which is an ism that must be in jar. So I found mudaf ilay. With me? This is mudaf and yawmi is mudaf ilay. Everyone gets this so far?
Yes, sir.
Now, up to this point, I have proven Maliki Yawmi is an Idafah. Yawmi is day and Maliki is the owner. What would it translate to?
Master of the day.
Owner of
day.
day. That's what it translates to. Right? Now I'm moving on to the word Yawmi. Because the word Yawmi is jar, singular, masculine, common, I believe that my assessment of Maliki being common is correct, right? Because it's dictated. So far, all good. Now, looking at the word Yawmi itself, now we are moving out of the Maliki world and going into the Yawmi world. So in the Yawmi, I'm asking 4 questions again. Is it partly flexible? No, because it is taking kasra. Is it calling somebody? No, there is no ya before it, for example. Is it categorical negation? No, because there is no la. So is it light and no al? Yeah, likely. Yeah, it fits the bill, right? So if it is that case, then I need to find an ism right after it, which is ad-dini. So can I say while Yomi is mudaf ilay to the Maliki, it is also a mudaf to ad-dini,
It is a mudaf for ad-din.
right? It's playing 2 roles. It's mudaf ilay at one point and mudaf at the other point, right? So when I say it's mudaf ilay, ad-dini, I'm going to do 4 properties: jar, singular, masculine, proper.
It's called proper. Proper.
Correct?
And since
Now what's happening here?
Okay, got it.
Now you see that?
yes, so since
So
this is
now
proper,
this
everything
proper
is
is going to
proper.
make this one
Yo
proper, this
proper.
proper is going to
And
make
this one is
this
gonna
one
make
proper.
Maliki proper. And since they are all proper, so they belong to
Correct.
Lillah.
Chain reaction. Properties match. Therefore, another sifa of Allah. He's the owner of the day of the judgment. You see the beauty of the language. So if you're looking at this entire thing, this entire thing, Lillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. It's just one big large set of fragments. It's a very large set of fragments. And you see Sifa number 4 here. This entire thing, just different color. This entire thing is another Sifa. It's a full fragment as a Sifa. Allah, the owner of the day of the judgment. Then when you pick up Rabbul Alameen, Allah, the master of the worlds. Then you pick Ar-Rahman, Allah, the most gracious. Then you pick Ar-Rahim, Allah, the most merciful. So if you have to translate this, you would be saying Allah, the master of the worlds, the most gracious, the most merciful, the owner of the day of the judgment. You're defining the sifas of Allah in one go like that. You see how Idafah and Mawsoof Sifah is coming together. Gee, sorry, sir.
But this is still not a sentence, right? This is still
It's still
one
not a
big
sentence.
fragment.
Correct. And Talak should answer your question. You see, these are 3 different ayahs. Right? And it's spanning. So one ayah doesn't have to be a sentence. A sifa can live in another ayah, and all of that
No,
can happen.
I just have this. You said yom. This can be fully flexible because it's 3-letter word and with harka in the middle, right? So was it fully flexible one yom itself?
Yeah, it's
right?
a fully flexible ism. Yes.
Father, the next ayah makes it a sentence, right? So because there you like ask something from Allah.
You mean the Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in? That is a
Yes.
completely different world. Okay. Iyyaka na'budu is a world of fail. You have not done that yet. Okay. But
no,
what will make
I'm
this
just asking,
complete
like,
sentence?
does it make it? It makes it a complete sentence, right? From start to
No,
until that
not
time.
that
No.
ayah. Not that ayah.
Okay.
What will make it a complete sentence, which inshallah you will learn in your study, is the word alhamdu all the way to this. This is one big
Okay.
sentence.
Okay.
It's one big sentence.
Okay.
So the way it's translated, alhamdu is, and then the praise and gratitude belongs to Allah, the master of the worlds, the most gracious, the most merciful, the owner of the day of the judgment. This is one big sentence. And I'm not touching on sentences because you have not done those concepts yet. I hope you all see that how your concepts learned so far are now coming together to help you really decode what's there. Right?
I'm just looking at the beauty of the chain reaction. To be honest, I am still not come out of this, the beauty yet.
Yes, absolutely. And there's so much to this. I mean, just for this, I mean, I really recommend you one of the episodes of Akhri Moja that Shams Bhai was referring to. I mean, Ustad Noman explains this in a lot of detail. You must listen to that. And you will really find it inspiring. Ji, Umar bhai, you have a question?
जी तो भाई ये जो jar रहा है एंड पे ये सारे jar हैं, तो क्या ये भी एक वजह है कि ये सारी एक चेन है? एक सिंपल सी एक्सप्लेनेशन ये भी तो है ना कि ये सब jar हैं इसलिए ऑफ समथिंग.
Good question, and I will answer that in this way. So this is jar, this is jar, this is jar, this is jar, this is jar. This is jar, this is jar, right? That's what you're saying. Now, question is, why are they jar? An ism can be in jar form for two reasons. One, it is a mudaf ilay, right? Balki three reasons. One, it is mudaf ilay. Two, it comes after a certain harf that makes it jar. There are harufs that does that. And three, it is a sifah of an ism that is in jar, right? If the word Allah was not in jar, they would also not be in jar, right? So only concluding that they are sifas because they are jar would not be the right conclusion, right? If the word was Allahu, and then after that, then you would have Rabbul Alamina, Ar-Rahmanu, Ar-Rahimu, Maliku, Yawmiddin. That's how you would go then. So because their status, the Sifa status, the Maliki status, the Rahimi, Rahmani, Rabbi, it is basically dictated by the Mawsoof. That's why they are injured.
Doctor, I was thinking the other way. I agree with Umar Bhai. In the very beginning of the lectures, we said Rafa is the one who is who the doer of an action, right? Nasab is the detail of an action, and Jar is the off relationship. The word that comes after off is Jar. So if you read this whole line, it explains the relationship of the word Allah, and like Rabbul Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, of all these things. Does that make sense? Or can we relate those things that we read it in the first lectures?
I told you that jar is the word after off because you were in kindergarten.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that was one definition of jar. Now you are graduates. Okay, now I'm telling you, yes, off relationship is true. What I told you is true, but it's not complete. Right. So now I'm giving you more definition. So that definition is in this case, for example, Rabbi al-Alami, that definition stands. It's mudaf ilayh. In case of Maliki Yawmiddin, stands. In case of Yawmiddin, stands. Maliki Yawmi stands. The word after off are jars. But in case of Ar-Rahmani, doesn't stand. There is no off relationship, right? Ar-Rahimi, there is no off relationship. It doesn't stand. So now you are enhancing your definition of jar. Now you know it can be the word after off, and it also can be a sifa if the mawsoof is jar. It's an enhancement to that definition. So don't stick to only that definition, because it is not going to give you all the answers now. You're now advanced from that level, and things will start to grow in terms of definitions. Okay.
Also the special mudaf,
Fahad
because
bhai,
that was an addition before, right?
Special mudafs as well. Yes. Ishans bhai.
Fahad bhai, I'm sorry, I know we are 10 minutes over, लेकिन बस एक चीज मुझे थोड़ी सी स्ट्राइक कर रही है कि रब्बुल आलमीन से लेकर रहमान और रहीम अल करके हमने सबको प्रॉपर किया है, या अल्लाह ने सबको प्रॉपर किया है, छोड़ के उसको फिर दीन के ऊपर जो आपने चेन रिएक्शन वाली की है, तो मालिक इज नॉट अल here, but it is now proper because of a deen. So इसमें कोई लॉजिक या कोई कॉन्सेप्ट है कि why it was not अल मालिक अल यौमुद्दीन, मतलब सारी अल की चेन क्यों नहीं चली?
Correct. If you make Malik al, it cannot be a mudaf. Right? You can't build that off relationship. You cannot say the owner of the day. You can't say that. Right? So that's why you can't make Malik with an al.
Got it. Thank you so much.
It's just the same situation as the Rabbi. Good. I hope that you saw you got some inspiration from the Quran today, and by applying your concepts that you have learned. There's so many more that we will inshallah go through next class. By the way, should we have next class? We should have a week off for Eid, right? Is that okay? I'm sure everyone wants a week off for Eid. So let's not do the class next week. and the week after we'll reconvene again, inshallah. Okay. So in that class, we'll start to do more harfs. I think there are 3 more fragments remaining in isms. Then we will move to the failed studies. Okay. So we are, mashallah, advancing very well. Okay. Do you want this scribbling? Do you want me to send this scribbling to you? Or
Yes, please.
Yes, I guess it will help.
okay, I will. You should print it out, put it on the wall. This is the first time you connected everything together. And I advise you that take this ayah and do this entire process yourself. Right, that's the best exercise. Any exercise in your notes with words and all of that, this one is the best one. That's effectively the one that where you want to be. Okay, okay, inshallah, I will share that with you. I think that's all for this time. Inshallah, I'll see you after Eid. Same time, same channel. Jazakallah khair. Inshallah, and enjoy the Eid.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Allah Hafiz, advance Eid Mubarak. So we'll do it there.
Advance Eid Mubarak.
Allah Hafiz, Jazakallah.